You basically put in a list of 5 things that companies should actually steps before anything like this. Before, well, you say you bring in that brand new iPad, like say, kind of go through some of these different steps that you should do ahead of time, really. Okay, so the very first one you say, clearly delineate where personal and professional data is stored on your device. Make it easy to delete applications and files via online storage repos like Dropbox Box you are using for business. Explain that a little bit.
Right. So the idea here is that you need to find some way to compartmentalize the information that's stored on the device, so that when you do leave or the device is lost, there's a way to either remotely clean it or to delete the information where there's no discrepancy about whether you're taking something that belongs to the company or whether the company is taking something that belongs to you. That is really critical to do up front.
Now, the second one I want to go ahead and get to happens to talk about the wipe clean technology. If we can bring this up, make sure that any wipe clean technology does not remove your personal data without your permission. Talk to that, because that's incredibly important.
Right. So there's a bunch of technologies out there that allow companies, allow even individuals, if you lose a device, to wipe it clean so that nothing, if somebody picks it up and has access to it, they're not able to see any of the information that's on it. That's a great idea. It's a way to protect yourself from potentially people stealing or gaining access to your information. But again, if your information is being shared between the company and your personal information on the same device, here it's a bit more tricky. So if you are sharing that device in such a way, and the company has a way to wipe your device clean if it gets lost or stolen, you better make sure that your stuff is backed up somewhere else, that you're not dependent on it. That's my first advice. I think that's just critical. The best way, of course, would be to go back to my first point, which is to compartmentalize it, which is a little bit more tricky to actually do in practice.
This one, I think, can kind of set it all, right? Policies and procedures. Verify that your company has clear policies and procedures for dealing with data privacy issues and that you are okay with them up front. I think this kind of goes across the board. Make sure there's a policy and procedure in place for everything, correct?
Right. Well, I think here's one which is very, companies, when you join a company today, you sign all sorts of documents about privacy and ownership of intellectual property. Here's a bit of a gray area because people are just bringing the stuff in and they're using it, and I think it's because it's new. There's not a lot of policy or a lot of thought given to exactly all the ramifications. So, a lot has been written about what companies should do to protect themselves. I'm saying that the individual needs to protect themselves by making sure that whatever they agree to is something that is clear up front. And if they don't like what the company's policy, it's better to know that before you bring your own device in than after something bad happens and it's a bit too late to deal with it.